NYGATS training, non-NYISO project data reporting. This is a training video for non-NYISO data reporting and data review. We will cover the following topics: how to self-report generation data, timeline for data reporting, prior period adjustments, where is QIP reported data reviewed, and feasibility failures. New York small wholesale generators and behind-the-meter generators whose generation is not reported by NYISO will be reported into NYGATS by a qualified independent party, or self-reported if the nameplate capacity is under 200 kilowatts. To self-report generation, access the Review Data Self-Report column located in the Asset Management module. A self-report hyperlink will be provided to report data. Once data has been reported, the hyperlink will display the most recent data. Select the Add New Output button located on the self-reporting screen. Select the vintage year, megawatt hours or kilowatt hour radio button, and report the generation. Enter the reporting period begin date and reporting period end date for the generation being reported. Enter the emissions in pounds for CO2, NOx, and SO2 and press Submit. Generation data used in the issuance of NYGATS certificates for generating units with a nameplate capacity of 200 kilowatts or smaller may self-report generation data for any month in the reporting year, but may also report multiple months of generation on an end-of-year basis. Generating units with a nameplate capacity of 200 kilowatts or smaller that report on an end-of-year basis must report generation for the same calendar year, January through December. A self-reporting generator must enter actual cumulative meter readings measured in kilowatt hours and the date of the meter reading via the self-reporting interface. A self-reporting generator must upload their cumulative meter reading spreadsheets not less than annually. See Operating Procedure 5.6 and 5.7 for more information. To upload generation spreadsheets, select the View Update link located in the Documents Attestation column of the Asset Management module. Designate document type, choose the file to upload. Select the Upload button. Timeline for data reporting. Generation data can be reported by the QIP or self-reported for qualified projects beginning after the last day of the generation month. Generation can be reviewed, accepted, or disputed by the account holder for 14 days. QIP reported data accepted by the account holder will be issued immediately. Self-reported data will be set to account holder accepted status and issued the next day. NYGATS accepted data that is not account holder accepted or disputed after 14 days will be used for certificate issuance 15 days after the data was loaded. Additional information on data loading and certificate creation can be found in the Operating Procedure 9.1. Prior period adjustments. Occasionally, there may be debits and credits in the current period. The account holder will be able to review the prior period adjustments during the account holder review period from the Review Data Self-Report screen. If certificates are created resulting from an adjustment, the vintage of the certificates shall reflect the month and year of the generation being adjusted. If certificates must be debited, fewer certificates will be created for the next vintage to issue certificates. After the settlement date associated with the vintage year, no further adjustments will be accepted by the NYGATS administrator. Where is data reviewed? Approving and disputing data. When generation data is loaded for a project, the data can be reviewed, accepted, or disputed for 14 days after it is loaded. Loaded data can be reviewed from the Asset Management Module's Review Data Self-Report column. The date displayed in the column is the last vintage loaded. The Self-Reporting Facility Project Output Data Review screen will display all generation reported for the project. The period data status in the left-hand column displays the status of all loaded generation. Generation data status. Certificates created. Is generation used for certificate issuance? NYGATS accepted. Is generation ready for certificate issuance? If data is not accepted within 14 days, certificates will be issued automatically on day 15. NYGATS pending status is generation data that's either failed engineering feasibility that requires administrator review or multi-fuel project that requires fuel allocations to be reported by the account holder. Account holder or admin accepted status is self-reported generation accepted by the account holder that will be used for issuance the day after being marked in account holder accepted status. Account holder or admin disputed is generation data in a disputed status that will not contribute to certificate issuance. Generation in disputed status must be resolved prior to the annual settlement date, June 30th of the next year. Pending data due to multi-fuel allocations not being entered will issue certificates at the annual settlement date using the primary fuel type. The account holder can log in to the data review screen of a multi-fuel project with pending data by accessing the data review screen self-report column located in the Asset Management module. Select the NYGATS pending status hyperlink to review the reported data and enter the allocation of the fuels used during that month. Validity check feasibility failure. NYGATS will conduct an automatic electricity production data validity check in order to ensure that erroneous and technically infeasible data is not entered into NYGATS. The data validity check will compare reported electricity production to an engineering estimate of maximum potential production calculated as a function of nameplate capacity, typical or seasonal, if available, capacity factor, and duration. If data reported exceeds an estimate of technically feasible generation by more than 2%, the NYGATS administrator will require the account holder to submit either settlement reports or meter readings to verify reported generation. Additional information on the topics covered in this training or any other questions you have about how to use your NYGATS account can be found in the NYGATS operating procedure. Additional questions can be submitted to the NYGATS administrator at nygats@apx.com or by phone at 408-643-0167.